Espero que nadie se ofenda, pero hasta que no estás aquí dentro no sabes la grandeza de este equipo.
Balcão da área, deu para Ep107, cruzou o Gilberto, que confusão, vai ser o primeiro, tirou para dentro! Marca Darwin, é Benfica, é Benfica, é Benfica! Ele vai atirar! Absolutamente fenomenal da parte de Otamendi, vai errar, fez o alto para o golo, chapelou, tirou para dentro! Voltava o golo do Ribatejano, é Benfica, é Benfica, é Benfica!
Só nós sentimos isso.
Welcome. Episode 107, Season 3. We are back again. As always, myself, Mike, your host. We got the crew back together to start the season. We got Bill, we got Jay, we got Kenny, we got Oscar. Gentlemen, how are we feeling for a brand new season? Hopeful, nervous, pessimistic? Thoughts?
Optimistic, dude. Gotta be optimistic.
Gotta be.
Welcome back, guys. I'm actually optimistic this year.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I don't believe it. A new Oscar.
We need someone to be pessimistic. Oh, new him. All right. New season, new him. Unfortunately for Kenny, it's a new season and he was late again. So same Kenny. New season, same Kenny. But it's okay. We're working on it. We're gonna try a few different things this season. Instead of 90 minutes, we're gonna give you guys an hour, 60 to 70 minutes tops. I think that's a sweet spot. For those of you watching, those of you listening, we want to make sure that you're not spending too much time looking at our pleasant faces or listening to us in the car. Para a malta que nos segue em português, quarta-feira é o nosso podcast em português, mas estejam à vontade de participar aqui na nossa conversa. Podem pôr os vossos comentários e as vossas opiniões no chat em português. Todos falamos português, todos percebemos português, por isso podemos abordar os vossos comentários à vontade, mas se quiserem um podcast em português, o nosso podcast em português com outro painel, na quarta-feira, a partir das 21 horas, hora de Portugal. Today, we are going to talk about, title of the podcast, Start of a New Era. We got a lot of changes, a lot of things have happened since the last time we met. We'll talk about first thoughts of Roger Schmidt. We got a new manager in town. First international or non-Portuguese manager at Benfica since, I believe, Quique Flores was the last one. Talk about Saturday's 2-0 win in a friendly match against Reading at St. George's Park. We'll talk about the transfer market. We've made a lot of signings. Last time we spoke, Kenny was convinced that we were going to spend and make a lot of noise in the transfer market. I was of the opposite opinion, but turns out that Kenny seemed to be right, and it doesn't seem like we're done with our business. But we'll talk about that. And if we have time at the end, we will do a start, bench, and sell, but that one will be a question mark depending on how we do with time. Before we start the topics, I want to just go around the table here. It's been a month and a half, 2 months. Anything exciting happen in the time being that gives you guys a little bit of hope going into the season? I mean, we haven't celebrated a title since we kicked off this podcast, which is annoying as hell. But if you had to put your finger on one thing that's happened since we last met at the end of season 2, Oscar, I'll start with you. Anything, if you put your finger on it, that says, that gives me hope that this season will be different, what would it be? I know what it's going to... The smirk gave it away. I didn't even think about it until he smirked.
Well, Pisaldinho voltou.
Oh God.
So,
now.
so the magic is that's why I was optimistic, right? Wait until he starts kicking off players that I like, and then I'll be the pessimistic again. Don't worry about it. So it'll come soon. So
Okay.
so yeah, some players that came back, I think with the new system and with new guys coming in, I feel optimistic that some of those guys that left because of the whole commotion that happened last year, I think we'll still fit in this team, and then it gives me hope for the future.
Okay. Jay, what's the one thing that jumps out to you? If there is one, if there isn't, that's fine as well.
So to me, I think it's the player that's coming in on tomorrow. I think he's coming out from Argentina. I'm actually excited to see him play in the midfield. I was also, not talking about the game, but I was also really happy that some of the players, we have a lot of players, but Florentino played really well. And I was really happy to see that because I've been a Florentino guy, but I'm ready for the year. I think we're going to do better than we did last year. I think we brought some pretty decent talent. It's the new year. So everyone starts at zero. So I'm going to ride high right now.
All right. We're all high at the moment. Kenny, putting your finger on something positive.
I would say positive is, we already got one victory over Porto. We stole one of their supposed players that was going to go over to them. What's his name? Vitor?
João
Vitor. And I think it's a good signing because I think the center back, I think we needed to get younger. I think Lucas Verissimo is Lucas. Yeah, it is Verissimo, isn't it?
Yep.
He is. Coming back from injury, we never know how that's going to work out. So I think we needed some bodies there. So that's one signing that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Bill, last but not least, positive.
Actually, before I jump into this, I'm just a little congratulations to Mike and his wife on welcoming a new
addition,
new addition to the Benfiquista family. So congrats on that one. It's early, but I like what they're doing in the transfer market. They made their signings quick and early. The only real saga we've been having is this fucking Ricardo Horta shit. But other than that, Braz is fucking working his ass off, and it feels like every time he flies out, he's not leaving that country without the player. So that's a positive so far.
All right. My positive is what Bill said, right? I think typically we leave everything for the last couple of weeks. We don't get the new additions in the training camp to be able to kind of gel. We've made some business. I think we've done most of our business early on. I still think there's going to be one or two additions depending on what happens, and we'll get to that later in the podcast. But I'm hopeful that having the team have some time together and some new faces and be able to kind of put things together. Hopefully, it'll be positive for us at the end of the day. First thoughts on Roger Schmidt. Sorry. German arrives in Lisbon. He makes a statement that turns into scarves. He's already making money for Benfica on marketing. If you love football, you love Benfica. I mean, if there was one sentence that he could have made, right, that was the one, right? Like he captures the fans straight away with that statement. I thought it was interesting that he had just gotten off the plane and Sam TV asked him what he thought about Ricardo Horta. Like the guy's been on Portuguese soil for about 4 minutes and they're already trying to start some drama and controversy asking questions like that. But, he's said the right things. He had a press conference early on. His questions were pretty standard. I mean, nothing that really challenged him. Obviously, he speaks English. He's learned a few words in Portuguese. I get the sense that he's trying to kind of bring the fans close to the team again, knowing that there was a lot of division over the last year or 2 years. With the open training, they had a scrimmage within the squad, right? That not many people expected to see. Almost 23,000 fans in the stadium for a training match or an open training, which is pretty impressive. I mean, there's first division teams that don't get that many fans in their stadium for a game. Right. So I thought that was pretty impressive. Kenny, I'm going to start with you. What are your initial thoughts? If somebody was to ask you, what, right. And again, it's early on. We haven't seen too much, but with a new manager, foreigner, We talked about this at the end of season 2. You know, what are your initial thoughts and takeaways that you see from this new regime led by Roger Schmidt, with Javi Garcia, Luis Zhao on the field more often, etc.?
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Javi Garcia, because that was one thing I was going to mention. So I had talked to you guys about this, and I've kind of, everything he's kind of said to begin with has kind of resonated with me. I think he's open to not only instilling his style of football, but he's also open to giving players second chances and kind of feeling everything out for himself, not making prejudgments on players and things like that. And Javi Garcia, I think, was a good example of that, because it wasn't like Jorge Jesus was very like, hey, I want my adjuntos and I want my staff in place, and that's it. There's no outsiders coming in, right? And so I think it was Rui Costa and the Direção had asked, how would you think of incorporating Javi Garcia into the staff? And he was all for it. So I think he's willing to, like I said, he wants to instill his football, obviously, but he's also willing to work with the Direção and give players a shot. Whether if he gets another shot or not was yet to be seen. But I think I like that about him. And I mean, right now I think everything is easy. He doesn't have much pressure right now, but once the real games start, and there's going to be an important one to begin with, that's going to be decisive as to how he kind of deals with adversity, especially in Portugal and coaching Benfica.
Well done. Jay, do you agree with what Kenny said? And I'm going to ask you here is, do you think that the fact that he doesn't speak Portuguese, do you think that plays in his favor, or do you think it plays against him, right, with the media and all the drama? Do you think it's going to help him, or do you think it's going to make things difficult for him?
To answer that question, I honestly don't know. I don't know Roger, if his personality. I've never seen him in a press conference, really. I haven't even seen him at the Benfica one, even when he came. But as far, I just don't think he understands like the how big Benfica really is overall right now. But like Kenny said, once the game starts happening, I think they're still in their honeymoon stages. I think once the games start happening, I think we'll see how he handles under pressure and how he deals with the press conference. But I can't answer that because I really haven't seen him in the press conference. I don't even know how he is, how he acts. But I think so far overall with the coach, I think I kind of agree with Kenny. Like right now, everything's good, but we'll see once the games start happening and the pressure's on.
Fair. Just a shout out to some people here in the chat. We got Red Baron's back. Welcome, Red Baron. We got Tiago in the chat. Red Baron's comment here made me laugh. Braz is just looking for frequent flyer miles. The guy's all over the place.
He's got a lot right now.
He legit gets off one plane, gets on another plane. He's just nonstop. And it's funny because there were some of us who in our group here that questioned what he did and what he was capable of doing. And I mean, he is just scooping everything up at the moment. Já tinha saudades desta equipa. Luís, já é tarde aí desse lado. A ver se vais dormir. It's quite late over there. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2.
And not to carry on the car, but I still have my doubts on Brad. I just don't get a good vibe from him.
Listen.
Is he negotiating? I mean, I don't think he's negotiating contract. He's just there to fucking grab him by the arm and put him in a car. That's all I saw in the video.
I don't care what he's doing, but clearly he's doing something right. Because they're coming with him. He's
like one of those people.
I can go there. Hey, vai apanhar aquilo. I can go there too if everything's already signed and on the top line.
Hey, before the season started, I'd be like, hey, Braz vai negociar o João Vitor. You'd be like, damn it, we're gonna lose him, right? Now all I hear is Braz foi ao Brazil. I'm like, okay, now
we got him.
Exactly.
Done deal.
It could be a bounty hunter. I don't know. He could probably just.
People were questioning like, oh, we should send Rui Costa to do the deals, seal the deals. Dude, this guy has been scooping it up.
I want to know who negotiated the Argentinian kid because that seems like a nice deal. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, because they wanted to keep him until whatever further down in the year, right? And then all of a sudden, Braz went and he's coming back. So that's what I mean. Another point.
I was hearing stories about paying 20. I was hearing stories about paying 20, 25, and then we end up paying 10 plus 8.
We had a coupon. We had a coupon for the discount code.
I still have my caution about him. I think a lot of shit that happened in the locker room, I think he was involved in. So that's where my stance with him. I'm still iffy on him.
All right, maybe he'll win you over in the next couple of weeks. Chico Marcelino, boa noite para ti. Oscar, thoughts initially on Roger Schmidt, and I'll also toss that question that I asked Jay: is, do you think the language barrier is going to be a pro or a con for him?
He's not going to be. I mean, I think it's a pro because he won't have to spend that much time in front of the camera and answering stupid questions. And when I say stupid, I mean like stupid questions to create drama. So, but I think him not. He's gonna be like it's gonna be surreal for him. Like once that drama starts coming on the newspaper, Benfica is gonna be all over it. I think he's going to learn a valuable lesson. They're like, oh shit, I didn't know, I wasn't ready for this. I don't know how in Netherlands how the media is compared to Portugal, but I know Portugal is disgusting. So hopefully he's ready for that. And then regarding what the first question, how my first impression of what he's doing, I have to agree with Kenny. I think he's doing that. To me, I wasn't a fan just because of it's estrangeiro coming into Portugal. The first thing is, let me get players I'm familiar with, right? And anybody that's homegrown, whatever, like that'll be my secondary option, third option. So, but he's doing the opposite. To me, I think he's bringing in some key players like Neres and stuff like that. Those are the superstars. And then he's not just going by what the media says or what other people say. He has 38 players on the training ground traveling, right? He's giving everybody a shot. And I think everybody has to play their part, and he keeps the best. He's starting from zero, and I agree with that. Totally agree with that. I don't want him to choose because of somebody. A and B said this guy sucks. This guy talks too much. This guy is a locker room problem. Give everybody start from scratch, and let everybody fight for the spots. And I agree with that.
Good points, Bill. Do you agree with what these guys said? Anything that you would add or disagree with?
No, I agree. I think like dealing with the media, I think it's definitely in his favor that he's not Portuguese and he doesn't speak the language. I think, like Oscar said, like he won't have to deal with those.
I mean, he will. They'll just ask the question terribly in English.
Yeah.
It's just
right, but I mean,
no, I know what he's saying. Though,
he like won't respond. Like he won't be able to respond to
Correct.
it. And like Jorge Jesus would have gone on for like 20 minutes on a question, whereas this guy will just give you a fucking short, sweet thing and then move on.
Yep.
But I mean, it's early, but the signs are positive. Like Oscar said, he seems to be giving the youth, the academy guys, an actual legitimate shot, and not just having them do the stagio just to be there and having in the journal saying that he brought up so and so to the stagio. Like it seems like he's actually giving these kids from the B team and some of the kids from the what are the U19s that won the Champions League, the Youth League, like they're actually getting the shot, which is good to see. I mean, it's good to see that before preseason even started, it's clear that he did work on picking players and working with the scouting department on kind of figuring out the profile of player that they want and the targets they need to go get, because the work that, I mean, I'm assuming the work him and Braz did is what's leading to all these quick transfers at the beginning of the transfer market and not kind of waiting to the end like we've seen in the past.
Yeah, and the whole point, right, is, and we talked about it before, is we need to acquire players that fit the mold of what the club's project dictates, right? Like JJ came in, bought players that he wanted, right? But like we didn't seem to have any plan, any structure, any idea. It was just like this coach comes in, okay, you buy what you need. And then when a new coach comes in, he may not like those players and they may not fit his mold. But it seems like we actually have like a plan in place. When we speak about the players, and I'll open this up to anyone who wants to answer
I just want to say one more thing about the coach.
Yeah.
I also I don't think Jorge Jesus did this, but like I like how he sat with the B coach and like discussed, like, I'm guessing a plan on how he wants to play and maybe how he wants the B team to play as well. I don't know. Like I just figured, like, I like how they communicated, and like that maybe we could shuffle through the system, like use the B.
Yeah, there's a plan. There's a plan. That's all we want.
Like if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Jorge Jesus did that.
I don't recall seeing it, but that
like it happened. It was never reported. Yeah,
that just shows like teamwork and like it shows. I mean, I don't know. I like seeing that overall. So.
No, I agree, and I think right, like if we want the youth players to move up, right? Like we need to make it as easy as possible for them to make those jumps, right? And if the B team plays a completely different style than the A team, right? Like the adaptation makes it more difficult, right? If we are consistent across the board, it makes the jump a lot easier, right? Clubs like Ajax, right? Like we talk about their youth and how they develop players. It's because at the bottom, they're playing the same style as that they are at the top, right? So you can progress easier.
The same thing.
Like a lot of these clubs,
the philosophy is the same all the way through.
Correct. One last question that I had on this, and it's gotten a lot of media attention. Do you guys see any issues with the fact that he brought 38 players? And the initial phase or the initial rumors were that he's a yes man. The Diracel made him take all the players, but news came out that it was his option. It was his choice to take all 38 players. Do you guys see, and again, I'll open this up to anyone who wants to jump in. Do you guys see an issue with this? And it's funny because Portuguese media criticized the hell out of it and said, clube profissional não pode levar 38 jogadores. It's going to impact how you develop the plan for the squad. And they got Champions League qualification coming up, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day, Jurgen Klopp calls up 37 players for his training, right? Yeah. Ruben Amorim called up 31 this morning, right? So do you guys see an issue? I personally don't, but curious to see if anyone sees an issue with this.
I mean, I just answered that. I did. That's to me is him coming in, learning the players that he has and picking the best. I mean, I don't think he's in PSV last year, right? I don't think he knows every single player in Benfica, if other than YouTube, right? I don't think he's watching Benfica games throughout the season. So for him coming in, I think it needs the time with all these players to find out who he can trust and bring into the final team. So I have no problem with it. And like you said, Klopp has a lot of signings that came into Liverpool. Yeah. He's taking everybody, and he's going to pick the best team. And are we questioning Klopp? No, nobody's questioning Klopp.
Exactly.
Right. So but it's all about the Portuguese media. That's why I'm telling you, like Schmidt has to get ready for this kind of stuff.
I kind of agree with Oscar. I just feel like he wants to see the players with his eyes and probably pick, like Oscar said, pick the best squad. I think he wants 27 players. Pick the best 27 out of that group, and that number is even going to go larger unless we start unloading some players.
Correct. Yeah.
So he does. I think he understands he has to make some cuts, and I've heard rumors that I think some of the cuts are coming soon. So some players are going to be on the market pretty soon. So, but he got to see them in training and how they prepare for games and stuff like that. So I think it's good for him to see visibly.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what Oscar said. I mean, Schmidt's coming in. He doesn't know these players, so he wants to get his first good look at them. And what better way than to get them out of Portugal in a training session in England, putting everyone together, running them through the drills and what he expects, and getting his own look at the players. I think it's common. I think it's pretty common. I don't think there's anything unusual about it, especially because Benfica does also have a lot of players. But I do agree with some of what the media was saying. I forget who it was. I was listening to it. Like this is more of a shortened preseason than even last year, and last year was already shortened. And you have a span of I think it's 4 weeks or just under 4 weeks to get your final squad in place, and you cannot do that with 38 players. You have to trim the fat a lot quicker. To get to, because you want at least two solid weeks with your final squad, so you can just work them over and over again. So I do believe that they got to trim the fat, and they got to trim the fat pretty quickly. I don't know how that's going to work, right? I don't know if they can sell them off quick enough, or if they're going to have to go to work on their own.
I have a question, Kenny. What about, say, we have players coming in right now. Enzo showing up tomorrow, right? What if Enzo has great chemistry with, say, Red Baron just said Gabriel. What if they have like this chemistry that nobody's expecting to have? Like Gabriel had with Samaris. Nobody expected Samaris or Gabriel to have this chemistry, and they had it together, right? So why get rid of trim the fat right away, and then comes the player that possibly could have had an awesome chemistry in the midfield with another player they just cut because in the past he didn't have a chemistry with anybody else. Like I think it's him. He has to see that for himself, and he doesn't know Gabriel from a hole in the wall guarantee, right?
Yeah, but you also can't. You can't. I also believe that you cannot have a legit training session with 38 players. You just don't. You are not going to get a good feel for who your final, starting 11 and backups are going to be.
But do you not think that he went on this trip knowing who his core? Like I'm of the opinion.
I was just about to say that. Like from the open practice and the starting 11 to this game, he has a core group of guys that he has already marked down, saying this is my core. Now I need to figure out who my next
possibly
15 whatever guys are. Like the guys that started were. I didn't watch the training session, but they were saying it was the team that were wearing the pennies, the yellow pennies, the same 11.
I think it was mixed.
No, because second half.
They said the team that started was the team that won on the other game.
Correct. The team that started against Reading was the team that won the scrimmage.
Yeah, and but if you look at our squad, does that team that started against Reading not pretty damn close to probably our strongest 11?
No, really? No.
There's like 6 or 7 internationals.
We had juniors on the CB position. We have like the on not even close.
I'm not saying that they're the starting 11. I'm saying it's pretty close.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it's close.
Enzo goes into the starting 11, right? Enzo goes into the starting 11.
I think
starting 11.
I think the 11 that started are the 11 players.
I don't even think you had a starting center back in there yet.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, none of the center backs are there.
No, but they were late. They just got. They
got there. Yeah. All the internationals just got there. But I'm of the opinion that he traveled there knowing these are my core. These are the guys that I plan to get rid of. But I want to take everyone together to give everyone a chance. Right. Like we haven't seen Gabriel in the training. Right. Like we are probably sure that he's not going to stay. Right. He knows who's going to stay and who's not. Right. So even though we have 38, he's not working with 38. Right, day to day, right? These guys are probably off to the side, working their own thing, staying fit, so they can place them somewhere else, so they're not just sitting at home, hanging out, right? And at the end of the day, right, if a team that's looking to buy some of these players, Gabriel, for example, says, they left them at home, right? They want $5 million, we're going to give them $2 million because clearly he doesn't count for them, right? So I think it devalues your asset.
Mike,
I agree with that.
Just like you said, he kind of already has an idea of what his core is going to be.
Correct.
A lot of these players that are also there already have their passports already going somewhere else. 100%. They already know who's leaving. So that's my point, which not my point, but I tend to agree with what some of the media is saying is like, why waste your time with a huge 38 man squad when you already kind of have an idea and you want to? Because to me, I want to work with the guys that are going to be there through the season. I want them to be in shape, ready to go. It's going to be a long season, hopefully, with many games. And you need to work them into your system, not work with guys that are not going to be part of your system. They may fit, they may not, they might be gone. So I agree with some of what they were saying, as in like, because it's a shortened preseason. You got to trim the roster to the right amount, because we all know that I think he wants, what was the number that they said?
27.
Like 27. That's a lot of players you got to get rid of to get to 27. And you got to do it quick because you do want that cohesiveness, with like a full 2 weeks solid of just that main squad.
Yeah. When did this preseason start? Like, that's the first question.
A week and a half ago.
Right, a week and a half ago. So he tried to cut the fat in a week and a half. He's been working with the players. I think that's way too short.
Dude, you only have like 2 weeks. You only have 2 weeks before the season starts.
All right, so he's not even halfway through. He's not even halfway through.
I think after the Algarve Cup this weekend, we'll start to see a few guys on their way out. I want to jump to the next topic quickly, but I just want to address a few comments here. Tiago Tavares, porque falam inglês. Este é o nosso podcast em inglês. O podcast em português com painel diferente é quarta-feira às 21 horas, hora de Portugal. Mas estás à vontade de participar aqui no nosso podcast em inglês. Podes deixar os teus comentários em português, nós todos percebemos e podemos abordar as tuas opiniões e as tuas questões. Red Baron says, of course, he knows he's going to cut 90% of the team is chosen, give or take. Tiago says, no fundo, podemos afirmar que o treinador quer dar uma igual oportunidade para todos, para no final demonstrar que a decisão final foi calculada, justa e igual para todos.
100% agree. 100% agree. That's my point.
I agree. I agree.
I agree with his last comment that by the Algarve, when's the Algarve Cup this weekend?
This weekend, yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll be down to like probably 31, 32 players easily.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. All right. Quickly, I mean, again, there's not much to talk about this, but Reading 0, Benfica 2. Starting 11 in that game was Elton Leite, Gilberto Morato, Antonio Silva, a youth player who has looked pretty good. Grimaldo on the left, Florentino, Weigl, double pivot in the midfield. João Mario playing a little bit further up. Rafa, David Neres wide, Enrique Araújo in the first half. In the second half, they
Bill,
swapped.
that's your 11 that you said.
In the second half, he
There's
swapped
not many
everyone
changes
out.
in there. Watch.
Dude, come on.
That's my loop.
The whole back line. Grimaldo needed the whole back.
The center backs will
Stick
change.
to
The
this.
center backs will change, and probably the striker.
And the right back will change.
Right.
No, I don't know about that.
Florentino probably won't start. Like,
The second half, he went with Samuel Soares, Ba, Tomás Araújo, André Almeida at center back, Ristich on the left, Maite, Paulo Bernardo, Chiquinho, Pizzi, Gil Diaz, and Diego Moreira. He didn't play with a striker. Diego Moreira was basically kind of roaming around as a false striker. Jay, I'm going to start with you. Did anyone jump out to you? Anyone excite you? I know that I mentioned Antonio Silva has kind of jumped out. Ba got a goal and an assist. Yeah, the youth. Anyone jump out to you? Anyone stand out? Again, it was the first preseason game, official one, so we can't have too high of expectations, but did anyone jump out from a positive or a negative?
To me, was Florentino in the midfield. I thought he played really well. I also liked how we pressed really high when they had the ball. In the first half, I thought we did a lot better than the second half. But to me, Antonio Silva played really well. Florentino really, to me, impressed in the midfield. He was winning a lot of balls, disrupting play, and pushing the ball forward. Neres didn't really do anything for me, to be honest. You can see there's something there, but I just think that he was off, possibly. Rafa was still good today in that game as well. But to me, like, the surprises was Antonio Silva. Like, he was a kid, and Florentino coming back, he looked a little bit stronger. But those two guys impressed me. And I mean, Bob played good too in the second half. You could tell he likes to go up. He likes to go forward. A lot faster than Gilberto, but you do have to do that all game if you're going to play that position. So, I mean, you saw how bad Gilberto struggled in the beginning, and now he kind of has his legs underneath him. But, I mean, I thought, and I hate to say it, Pizzi
I was waiting.
It's against fucking Reading. Guys, let's not over fucking.
Yeah, I get it.
Wait,
did someone name me? Does anyone know who Reading threw out there on the fucking?
No idea. I didn't know any of those guys.
What are we talking about here?
But
the only one I know is
I'm just talking about the players that I saw.
We're talking about people that impressed us. That's the question. Like, it could have been against high school. I don't care. Who impressed us?
Easy didn't look against the scrimmage against Blacks. Barely, you don't want to.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Ele vai te calar.
Kenny, I'm gonna pass the ball to you.
Well, you're passing the ball to someone who didn't even watch the game, so I really don't even know.
Yeah, then why you can't?
And the highlights.
Why talking negative?
The highlights that I tried to find online are like the shittiest highlights. You can't even really see.
Yeah, there weren't many highlights.
I mean, I can't speak on the game. I mean,
that's fine.
It is what it is. I'm glad we won, right? It would have been terrible if we lost that game. So
I'm gonna ask you a question that doesn't necessarily need have to have seen the game. Is right? Jay mentioned that we played a high press, right? There was a lot of times where Enrique Araújo was literally on the edge of the box, waiting for the goalie to make a play so they can all press together. And we did that for about 30 minutes, and naturally the team dropped off first game. But I'm going to ask you this question. I saw it come up a lot, Kenny, is right. We got Tino in the midfield. Whether he starts or not is indifferent. I saw that there was rumors that Roger Schmidt likes him. I thought he looked good. Right. We were talking to Jay, and it seemed like everything that I was saying, Jay was thinking. So it was like I was reading his mind. We agreed on a lot of things in terms of that game. But do you think that Weigl's lack of press, Weigl's lack of mobility, Weigl's lack of speed could be a detriment to him in this squad if Roger Schmidt, that we know, right? We saw it at PSV. We saw it at Leverkusen. He likes to play, guns blazing, right? Team has to move quick together. That's why he went to go get a player like Ba, a player like Ristic, guys that are just flying north to south. Let's get moving. Let's get pressing. Let's get tight. Do you think that's going to impact a guy like Weigl? And I'll ask Oscar the same thing after a guy like João Mario, but I'll start with you, Kenny.
I think it'll affect João Mario more than Weigl. I think Weigl can adapt to that style, and if there's anyone that is willing to put in that work and that effort, it's for a German code, for his compatriot, right, would be Weigl. So I think João Mario will struggle more. I think João Mario's more style of just laid back kind of just sit and pass, and he's just more, I don't know, he doesn't have that fire under him like Weigl. Like Weigl in Clásicos and derbies is a machine. He's there just like Otamendi, fucking guns blazing. So I don't think that'll be a detriment for him. One thing I'll say though about Enrique Araújo, I think he's like the real deal. And I'm not like a youth guy. I'm the first guy to be, to get off, jump off that ship. But I really do think, out of all the four, the Nelson, what's his name? Nelson Oliveira, the Gonzalo Ramos, all these guys, I actually think Araújo has a legit chance at being like a 15, 16 goal scorer this season. So I really like the kid.
Okay, fair enough. Tiago says Tino pode ter uma segunda vida. Weigl tem que ficar. Tiago says João Mario é que pode não dar. Red Baron says I don't have a good feeling.
I think in that formation, the double pivots aren't they're more there for security to the back line. And when we're breaking on the counter, I think it's João Mario that's going to struggle with getting up the field, getting the ball, getting it out quick. Like the double pivots, yeah, they're going to get the ball, but they're not going to be expected to make the 70, 60-yard runs to be supporting your wingers and your strikers. I think that is on the 10, and I don't know if João Mario can do that.
Bill, do you think did anyone jump out to you in this game, negative or positive?
I liked how Neres started. It showed flashes, but then he faded to being a freaking bystander in that game.
You mean like Everton?
Yeah. I'm hoping it's just
on the other side, though. On the other side,
this guy's been sitting in Brazil for 6-7 months because of the war in Ukraine. So I'm hoping it's just a little rust. He needs to knock it off.
Didn't he just make a comment too that he doesn't want? He said something like, "I don't want to be known as the star on the team. Like, there's a lot of good players here."
Or he said that we don't have any superstars. We have a lot of good players. Is what he said.
Something like after someone asked him if he looks at himself as a superstar.
Oh, I didn't hear the original question. I just saw
he said "non temos nenhum," meaning he's not he's trying to be everything his level, which is good. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, but
he is the most laid back looking guy I've ever fucking seen, dude. He
looks like he's always high.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like you guys have said, Florentino looked good. Ba looked like a fucking rocket, dude. The guy's fast as fuck up that wing.
He scored that goal on the edge of the 6-yard box as a right back.
Yeah.
Just think about that. Right back's hanging out on the edge of the top of the 6.
Well, he made that run and then you put the ball.
I know, but the fact that he gets there.
Yeah.
He knew that Pizzi was going to assist him.
Yeah.
Miss
hit it. Oscar, pass it to you. Anyone jump out to you? And
you already know who you're gonna say.
No. I'm not gonna say Pizzi because obviously we all know what Pizzi can bring to the table. He brings a little magic, and that's what he brought to the table. So let's welcome back Pizzi. And now who surprised me? I liked offensively. I liked Ba, right, because of his speed. Obviously, we didn't see enough from him defensively because Reading, whatever the team is not a team that's gonna attack us. Reading.
Reading.
I'm gonna clip that.
39 minutes in.
We know what to do with that one.
39.
I don't. they're not a team that's gonna give us problems like on our back end. So like I think offensively it looked really good. Let's see what happens in the Algarve Cup. Like, and he'll be tested a little bit more. Now regarding João Mario, I agree that he needs to play in a middle three. I don't know if Schmidt is gonna. He said he's gonna be a number 10. So if we have Weigl and we have Enzo, he has to be a third middle. A third player in the midfield, right? Because he's the one saying that he's going to play a number 10. So I think with that formation, playing 3 in the middle, like a triangle, I think João Mario is okay. I think João Mario will do totally fine because he can play number 8, number 10, and switch with Enzo. And then those 3 guys right there all of them are pretty good offensively and good defensively. Weigl being more defensively, those 2 other guys going more offensively. So I think that triangle right there is good. And then when João Mario starts sucking, we have Pizaldinho to go into number 10. So I'm looking forward to this triangle in the middle.
So then we're not going to sign anyone. We're done making signings.
Well, who's been talked about? Like I don't even know if we have another midfielder.
We'll get there. That's the next topic here. All right, just quickly on some comments here. Red Baronet said, I don't have a good feeling about João Mario at number 10. He also said, continua a dizer que o Weigl resulta muito melhor com o meio campo a 3 e isso não vai acontecer com o Roger Schmidt. Tiago says, outro jogador que pode não encaixar é o Gonçalo Ramos a jogar a 9. Tenho imensas dúvidas. Neres esteve parado muito tempo. Temos de dar tempo. I agree. And bomb matches, Neres better. Gilberto's too slow, and he even stole the ball from Neres on like 3 occasions. They did seem out of sync again, but it's the first game of the season, preseason. We need to give it time. We need to give them, the benefit of the doubt. They just started working with each other. So we'll see.
But do you know who played good with Ba?
Peasy's back heel. He's so stupid.
Yeah.
Against who? Reading?
Reading.
Yeah, probably reading,
Last topic here, transfer market. There's been a lot of movement here. And let me just bring it up. So Benfica's arrivals. Let me just see here quickly. We had David Neres, who came from Shakhtar, João Vitor from Corinthians, Alexander Ba from Slavia Prague, Petar Musa from Boavista, Mihailo Ristic from Montpellier, Carlos Vinicius came back, Thiago Dantas came back, Germain Conti came back. We're still talking about some others. We'll talk about departures quickly, the ones that stand out. Jota went to Celtic definitively. Everton went to Flamengo. Darwin Núñez went to Liverpool, and Jetson Fernandes was sold to Besiktas. There's a lot to talk about here, and Bill, I'll start with you. Is right? We have all these signings. We're still in conversations with Ricardo Horta. There's a potential that Grimaldo leaves. We haven't offloaded some of the players that we believe as fans are not going to stick around. I'll start with this. Based on what we've done so far business-wise, and again, I'm opening this up to everyone that's watching, so please join the conversation and ask your questions, is based on everything that we've done so far, the business that we've done, confirmed, not speculation, do you think that we're still missing something? Or do you think that we have what we need?
My only concern would be, like we just touched on, that number 10 role, right? Like I'm not 100% sold on João Mario being able to fulfill that role for the entire season. Outside of that, I mean, again, if Grimaldo leaves, I think we have to look at the market and potentially get another left back. But the work we've done, I think we've filled areas that we needed to look at, and I think credit to them for doing it quickly. But it's the areas that at the end of last season we all kind of felt like we need to improve on, and they've done it. I've liked what they've done so far. I think the players they brought in, the profile of the players, is kind of what this new era is, the new project, right? They're, for the most part, they're all young. I think Ristic might be the oldest. I think the rest of them are like early 20s. I think he might be like mid 20s. But for the most part, we're buying young players that have had some promising seasons, but there's huge upside to them.
Okay. Oscar, are you happy with what we've done? Do you think we're missing anything? Oh, he stepped on
I'm
his
happy
internet.
we're missing. Like I think Neres is a player that's going to be on the left side, right? I'm assuming because Rafa's going to be on the right. Was that going to be vice versa?
He was on the
I think it
right.
might be vice versa.
They switched. But again, they could interchange.
They could play. So I'm just thinking, who's going to be the sub for those guys? I think we have Diogo Gonçalves on one side, and then who's the other? Moreira.
Diego Moreira.
Right. So I think we need to fill something. That gap there is missing, unless they're trying to kind of, and maybe that's why they're still keeping Pizzi around or Jean-Marc. I don't know. It could be because we don't have, if Neres starts sucking, we don't have a guy that can play in that position other than Dio. I'm going to put Gil there.
Hopefully not.
All right. So I think that position is we should be worried about it because we don't know how Ned is going to come into the competition. He's been sitting for 6 months. So I think that position is one that worries me.
Okay. Jay, any concerns? You think we're missing anything?
My concern is the striker position. We lost our goal scorer. We have Seferovic, who hasn't really played. We have a kid, Enrique Rujo, which we have high promise for. Gustavo Ramos, who's about to probably get sold. Okay, but you have Chuck, but like, what did he do last year? Did he impress you? Because he didn't impress me last year.
What did Darwin do the year before that?
Yeah. How Darwin impressed you?
Darwin to me had flashes and more than Chuck did in his first year.
Chuck's been more successful internationally. Chuck didn't really get much of a chance.
I'm not talking about international. I'm talking about Benfica. I'm talking about what he's done at Benfica.
He has more of a track record to turn it around.
I don't think. To me, it's my concern. I mean, you can have a different concern. But to me, that's my concern. We lost the best. We lost our goal scorer. We lost our best player. In my opinion, we lost our best player, and we didn't fill that position with anyone except for that Musa kid. And who knows? Maybe he ends up being just like Darwin, or maybe like there's a diamond in the rough, or maybe that Ruju kid plays really well. But to me, that's my concern.
You're not a fan of Pinho? Huh? I know Mike likes Pinho.
Yeah, Pinho is so good.
But Tank, I'm going to ask you a question though. It's at one time in probably that you should be in favor of the strikers because two of them are the youth guys. So like, are you for the youth or you're not for the youth? So you be going.
No, it's not that. But I'm not saying it's not. I'm not for the youth, but I need to see it. Like
that's what I've been saying for the last 3 years, and you've been arguing with me.
But what
about you giving chance to the youth? And I need to see.
Like, you last 2 years were talking shit about Darwin, and then Darwin shut you up, and you
100%. So you give the guy time.
That's what I was talking about. Now Enrique Rujo has a good track record. He's doing great. He's done great. He hasn't he did all right for that game that a few games that he played up in the 18 last year. But this is going to be a full season at the 18, and to me, that's a concern. You're going to need everyone struggles their first professional season. Everyone's seen it. I think we lost our best player. He played at number 9 position. He scored a lot of goals for us, and that's a big void. Regardless, Stefanovic was on the team, and he didn't do anything. Chuck was on the team. He really didn't score that much, but to me, it's a concern.
It's valuable. So I have a question for you. Say we lost Darwin, right? This year. Chuck was not with us, but we got Chuck this year to replace Darwin. Would you be concerned still?
Yeah, because I don't know anything really about Chuck.
Well, you don't know Chuck?
Dude, what did you know about Yaram before
Ukraine? I played for Ukraine. Euros.
What did you know before he scored that goal in the Euros or whatever? Yeah, well, what did you know about him before that?
International players, I kind of only see from the international.
We knew less about Darwin, and we were fine with it.
100%.
But the way
you watch second division Spain.
When I saw Darwin play, and I've seen Yaramchuk play, he doesn't convince me. Like Darwin used to convince me, like, yo, he's got something in them. Like I saw flashes. I don't see anything from Chuck. I seen him put tap-ins. I've seen a few tap-ins from him.
And a header.
I mean, we have one striker that misses.
To me, I just want to see it. I want to see it. Like, okay, maybe you guys are right. Maybe Chuck has like a fucking 50-goal season. Who knows? Like, I don't know.
But you saw
that's a concern.
But you saw
he didn't play that good last year. We lost our best player in that position. I don't know
you saw flashes from Enrique Rujo last year, right? As a few times that he came in and played.
Yeah, but
So that flashes yourself a Darwin.
Oscar, to be honest, I don't even know if he's going to start. I think he's going to start Chuck.
Of course,
Yeah, I
Chuck's
don't think-
gonna start. Of course, Chuck's going to start.
Okay, and
Yeah,
that
he's
doesn't concern you? Oh, you have so much confidence that Chuck's going to score every single game? Or he's going to score? He's going to score 30-plus goals? He's going to score 30-plus goals this season?
When it's my turn, when it's my turn, you're actually going to be surprised at what I'm going to say.
Chuck was our third best scorer. He had 9 goals. Rafa was second. Darwin was first, and Chuck didn't play much second half of the season.
Hold on, and how many? And that's all games or just league games?
That's all games.
Okay, how many did Darwin have his first season?
Just probably had more in Europa.
No, just in the league. I think he only had like 6.
Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
I think it was 6 goals, 5 assists.
Darwin, the year before, he had a total of 13 goals across all competitions.
But what about in the league? Because Yaremchuk only really played league, I think.
Hold on, I got it right here. Hold on.
I think he only had like 6 goals.
2021, he had 5. 5 goals and 10 assists.
That's why we were champions of 2 years ago. Whoa.
But I listen, I agree with Jay in the sense of, right, you're getting rid of 30-plus goals across all competitions, and where are you going to fill that void, right? Do we have a player that's going to be able to give us that same output, or is that going to have to be split between 2 or 3 players? So I think statistically, I completely agree with Jay's concern, right? Because you can't get rid of 30-something goals and not find them somewhere else, right? Hopefully
they're naturally going to come from someone.
We're not going to go.
We're not going to go a season without scoring. Like
no, I agree.
Why don't you guys ask? Let's go across the border and ask our Real Madrid
across
fans.
The border.
What border you want to cross? Mexico?
No. The
Canada?
Spain.
Spanish border.
All right. So and ask Real Madrid what they did to get rid of when they had to replace 50 goals when Ronaldo left. Look who started shining.
Someone has to score.
People has to come up and step up.
Correct, but Real Madrid has different resources than Benfica does.
Spanish league is a different league than Portuguese league. So yeah, the resources can be a little less worth.
I'd say it's easier to score in Portugal.
Kenny,
that's what I mean.
What do you think we're missing?
So, Tank, I do agree with you that we are. I think.
Look at this new season, and the brothers agree with each other. This never happened.
We got a new Oscar. We got the brothers agreeing with each other. This is fucking.
It's beautiful.
So, I agree with Tank that I think we could use another forward, but not for the reasons that he's saying. I think we could use another forward for depth because I don't think Seth's going to be here. I don't think Pinu's going to be here. So I really think we're stuck with 3 contenders: Yaremchuk, Araujo, and Musa. And I think we could use a 4th just to kind of round out the squad. Put some more, have kind of, 2 setups, right? Two starting guys and 2 kind of backups in case of injuries and other things. So I do think that another forward would benefit the team. But I think the major hole in the team right now is in the midfield still. And just because in the past 2 years, our midfield has completely sucked. And I know we've enforced it with Enzo. João Mario last year, he came on. We still have Weigl. But I still think we're missing some more players in the midfield, even just for depth, but also I think we're missing a number 10 in this formation. I don't know I know Ricardo Horta, I guess, is more of a winger, but I think he can kind of fill out that position in the midfield. Roger Schmidt was going after, I think he clearly wants a number 10. Like he went after Götze missed out. He wants Ricardo Horta still hasn't come on. I think I heard a rumor that we were trying to trade Grimaldo for a midfielder from Lyon. I don't know. Yep. Yeah, I don't really know the guy, but I'm pretty sure he's a number 10 as well. So clearly, Roger is looking for another midfielder, a 10 to fill out his squad. Because I think Paulo Bernardo is a good, backup player. Martin Neto, Rafael Brito, those are kids that can kind of, again, round out the roster as backups.
Brito's a Merito.
Yeah.
He already left. All right. I didn't even ask. I know Mike's not a number 10, but did Mike even play in Reading against?
He played in the second half. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if he's going to be on the team. I think he's still a good body to have on the squad, but again, I think we need more players. There's going to be a lot of games, hopefully, and we're going to need more solid players in that midfield. Or else, really, if you look at it, you've really Enzo is really the only addition to that to that
Look,
midfield.
I think he's going to get a spot.
Be interesting to see if he starts.
It's so inconsistent. I mean, the kid's been on and off. Every preseason he's here, then he's gone. I don't know what to say with the kid.
And the teams he plays for, he doesn't even play. The
He's
teams
been loaned out the last 2 years.
And how many games
but he hasn't played at all.
Okay, but he's on the team. I think he's going to make the team, to be honest. But
I think he'll be on the team as well, whether he plays or not.
Again, another backup, but I think we need a starter there. I think we need another starter.
Yeah.
Well,
so
how many people do you guys want to start in the midfield?
He's going to start with 3. He's going to start with 2.
But if he starts with 3, he can't play 2 forwards.
No, he doesn't. He plays with 140. He plays a 4-2-3-1. When he was at PSV, Zahavi was a striker.
So you may not need to buy another striker. If you have 3 strikers, you're probably going to ride with those.
Correct.
3.
In a one striker formation, and obviously he's going to alternate throughout the season depending on situations. But his formation's 1.
Unless he does what Nelson Verissimo did last year with Gonzalo Ramos, kind of played that false 9, like he was playing behind the forward, right? I don't know if any of the other guys can do that. I don't know if
that's their plan. I think that's their plan with Ricardo Duarte, because Ricardo Duarte can play as a striker and he can play as that second striker.
There you go.
Right. And that's why I don't think Gonzalo Ramos is going to stay, because I don't think he fits the profile that Roger Schmidt wants. And I think if we get a good enough offer for him, he's going to see the door. Just quickly in the comments here, a few different questions or comments. Shout out to Alfredo, un abraço para ti, amigo, from Benfica podcast. Yes. Tell Cristiano I said hi. He says he doesn't think Chuk fits Roger Schmidt's system. He said Red Baron says Gonzalo needs to step up. Alfredo said Ozil is free. No, as an Arsenal fan, keep him as far away from this team as possible. Kenny mentioned that Grimaldo and Lyon. Benfica wanted to include Grimaldo in the potential deal for OR, who is in his final year of contract. Arsenal was after him a year ago. They wanted like 30 million. But now Lyon didn't want to include him in the trade with Grimaldo. But that leads me to my next 2 questions. And I'll open it up to whoever wants to answer first is, should Benfica walk away from this Ricardo Horta bullshit? Like, it just seems like we're running in place. They're playing games. Like, do we just pull the plug and go find someone else? And Alfredo Formasa said here in the comments, we can get someone way better than Ricardo Horta for 3/4 of the money that Salvador's looking for. What do you guys think?
What's been rumored is I feel like we're paying way too much.
20 million. He wants 20 million and 2 players, or 18 million and 2 players. But the problem is he owns 1% of the goddamn players.
Yeah,
so he's not.
I've seen we've offered 13 plus Diogo plus Gil Diaz plus someone
Abifana.
Yeah, Gil Diaz sucks and whatever. But I still think it's way too much for fucking Ricardo Horta. I feel like we could probably go find someone else somewhere else for cheaper.
The last offer I saw was 15 mil plus 2 players, and I believe it was Diogo and Gil Diaz. Do you guys do that deal, or do we just walk away?
15 mil's too much, in my opinion.
Last I saw was 15 mil plus 2 players, which the 2 players that they had mentioned was Gil Diaz and Diogo Gonçalves.
I mean, Gil Diaz and Diogo can go, but plus another 15 on top of that, that's ridiculous.
15 mil's too much. Didn't we pay 50 or 60
just went for 10 million.
Rafa was 16 million, I think.
Yeah.
Didn't Renato Sanches just go for 10 million to?
That's the rumor. It's not official, but that's the rumor. 10 mil.
Jesus Christ! I mean, there's definitely bargains out there, right?
Yeah, but you can't pay his salary.
It's a salary.
No, I'm just saying. There's
comparing. Yeah.
There's clearly better. There's clearly. I'm sure you could find a deal somewhere. I just don't know the market and what's out there and what's available, right? But do you want? I do. Here's what I like about Ricardo Horta. He's in the league. He knows the pressure of Benfica. He knows he's in, he played for Braga. He's been in the top 4 running for Champions League, whatever you want, European League. He knows the pressure. So I think there's a benefit to having him versus another outsider that has to kind of adapt to the league. I mean, do you want whatever? I
mean, he's a proven player in the league.
You'll feel confident with him there.
But I agree with what Thiago's saying. He's not worth the 20 mil or whatever.
When you buy
I think
when you buy a player over 15 million, I think you have to make money off that player. And I don't think Benfica will make money off of
I agree.
If they pay for 20
It's
million,
gonna
Benfica will make their money back on that.
He's going to be 28 in September.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't think when's his contract up?
I think he's got like 3 years left.
Oh, jeez. I mean, I think eventually the player's got to, push. If he wants to get out of there, he's got to push for it too. I think you don't overpay. You just deal with the drama. And
2026.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way he wants to stay there until 2026. He's got to force the hand eventually.
Yeah. Oscar, do you have an opinion on this? You've been quiet.
Yeah, because I know what you guys are gonna say, so I'd rather stay quiet because I think we have the player to match Orte's characteristics at home. So I just will stay quiet.
But do you? No, honestly, no. And like again, this is part of the discussion. Do you honestly think that? I'm assuming you're.
Can I just ask something? Does his name rhyme with Yeezy?
Yeah, probably.
No, his name is Peasy.
Measy. Do you honestly think that Peasy has the similar characteristics and the possibility to put out the same output that Ricardo Horta can put in?
Have I seen it? Yeah. Does he have it? Yeah. I mean,
you think today he does?
The characteristics, yes, but I don't think the Peasy that we saw 4 years ago, it's not the same. Like
the Peasy.
No. I mean, PZ is not the same, and I don't.
We don't know that because after Jesus come in, PZ changed, right? So let if this guy gives him a chance, we can see PZ again. I don't know, maybe we will. And that's why I like this guy giving people chances because he might have in house what he's looking for outside.
To be honest, I'm not even going to disagree with Oscar on that one. I think.
Oh Jesus, Mike! No, what's going on?
Listen, I personally don't want Horta on Benfica. I don't think he's. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's worth what we are probably going to pay for him. And Oscar does bring a good point because he has similar characteristics to how Peasy plays.
Peasy won't get you more money. Like the same thing.
Basically, you're not going to pay anything, and you have the player. But to me, I think I'd rather not have either one of them on the team and hope someone new comes in. But who knows, dude? Who knows what Ricosta is going to do?
Just curious, and this is not to be a dick, but what ended up of PZ in where was he in Turkey?
Yeah,
Mazak Shakir.
Dude,
you guys talking shit about Florentino. He probably didn't even play a game.
Yeah, no,
I'm just curious. I really don't know.
No.
Oscar canceled his jersey after the second.
Dude,
this
guy was loaned for 6 months, right? For you think a team is gonna adapt a team around a player that's going to be there for like 5 months? No, he played a few games, came in as a sub because he was on loan, guaranteed. We paid this whole salary because we had to get rid of him for the rest of the year.
So he didn't start many games.
He played 10 games at Mazak Shakir. He scored 1 goal, 1 assist, and he had 256 minutes. He averaged 25 minutes a game. Nossa senhora.
Sick.
We're coming down to the end here. We got about 7 minutes left. I want to ask you guys one more question. Someone comes in. Rumor is that Arsenal's ready to come in and swoop for Grimaldo.
Yeah.
The rumor is 7 million. If Arsenal presents a formal offer of 7 million for Grimaldo, last year of his contract, do you sell him, or do you keep him in hopes that he's a part of the core? We qualify for Champions League. We make the money that we get from Champions League, which outweighs the 7 million, and he ends up walking next year, or you try to convince him to stay by the end of the year.
Can I start? Can I?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I think we owe it to Arsenal after the robbery we did with
no shit.
Tavares.
8 million.
I think we owe it to them to just sign and really. I really do think we'll end up, if we don't let him go now, he's gonna go for free. So I think you take what you can get out of it.
Take it and run.
Bill, Oscar.
I take it and go get Rafael Guerreiro.
Yeah, right. It's too much money. They want 20 million.
Dude, today I think you've been drinking. Dude. I don't get it.
You fleeced the machine.
Dortmund doesn't want him.
That's the rumor, though. I actually heard that rumor.
Yeah,
but he wants so much money.
They were talking about Gonzalo Ramos trade.
You would have to pay unless they do a Otamendi deal where they pay a salary for the next 3 years because we can't afford that kind of contract.
No.
I say, look, if this dude, players tend to respond positively to good results. If Benfica makes Champions League, if Benfica has a good run in the league and all that, the team looks like it unites itself, right? I think Grimaldo is essential for Benfica's team. I mean, we're gonna put him Resic, whatever his name is, that came in. Like, I don't even know how that guy is. Right? So who else is gonna have go into the market right now and try to get a replacement last minute? I say Grimaldo stays. 7 million is not going to make or break the freaking Benfica's bank. So write him out. Hopefully he changes his mind and renews with the team. And next year he goes for more money. That's to me the most sensible thing to do.
That's fair. Many people have had that same opinion.
I don't think he renews.
Yeah, I don't think he renews either, and I think he wants out. So
he loses the leverage.
I also think like it's what happened at the end of last season. Like, yeah, I know he came out and apologized a couple weeks ago, but like what happened at the end of last season happened. Like, you can't ignore it and you can't forget it. Like,
and Bill, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Like, it's at that point, like for me, I would just let him go, move on, and that's it.
And then who are you going to replace him? Who are you going to play there? You're going to play there.
That's the thing. Well, that's the thing is if we're going to sell him,
we have to get somebody else.
Correct. We need to have someone else lined up. If we if we're going to sell him and our option is we stay with Ristich and Sandro Cruz or Gil Diaz, then I wouldn't sell him. I'd rather just lose him.
Of course not. That's like if you have another player coming in, like if Rafa Guerreiro or somebody like that came in, 100% get the 7 million, walk away without having a second option because Ristich is not a starter for me. Then we can't.
Well, you don't know him. I mean, we didn't know anything about Gilberto, and he became a starter. We didn't.
I agree with that. But you're gonna take a chance right now, sell Grimaldo and take a chance on somebody you don't know.
Well, I think if there's an easy position to adapt, I think left back.
That's too much of a chance. You're gonna play Champions League right now, dude. You're not gonna just take a chance.
I understand, but I think that's kind of the easiest position to fill is kind of get a back somewhere to fill the.
Yeah, why don't we put David Luiz there? Let's see what Hulk does to him.
No, but Oscar, Ristich is an actual left back.
Natural left back. Yeah,
he's a natural left back, and he could have came in as Grimaldo's future. Maybe this year.
Then ride him
back up, and next year he slides in that starting.
Why not ride Grimaldo and Ristich until December? Open when the market opens, sell Grimaldo for whatever you can take. If he pans out, if Ristich pans out, then that's a guarantee.
You can't sell Grimaldo.
You can't guarantee that he's
free.
In January, he signs for free.
He has to renew with Benfica first before you can then sell him.
I'm talking about in January.
You can't. In January, he signs for free.
He can leave in the season, but he
can sign in January. He won't leave till the end of the season. But no one's going to buy him in January, knowing that he's going to go for free.
Right. You lost all the leverage. And to Bill's point, of course he apologized. If he didn't apologize,
exactly, yeah,
he would be riding. He would lose all his value and probably end up nowhere next year. At least this year, he can he's got his good graces. He's back in the preseason. Right. He's going to start maybe at the beginning of the season. Maybe we can get rid of him. I don't know, but
my biggest concern is to sell him. I agree. Fine, he needs to go. But we need a replacement. If we don't have a replacement, we can't rid of him.
Here's another thing. We want to talk about the youth. Let's give the youth some chances. I think it's Ristich could come natural left back start and put the kid as a backup. Put the whoever.
Yeah, but you don't know how Ristich plays. You don't even know how good he is. We at the beginning when Gilberto came in at the beginning, everybody wanted to call him a manco and hated him. Like first few games, everybody 100%. Legit talked shit about Gilberto.
But I think it's the easiest position to adapt. I really do. I think if there's a chance to take on a squad. That's the chance I'll take.
So Ken, we've been complaining also about Grimaldo defensively for the last 3-4 years, and we haven't been able to replace him. So it's that easy.
Ristich came in my opinion. Ristich came in as next year's 100% starter because I don't think Grimaldo's going to be here past. If he stays this year, fine, he stays this year, but next year he's gone. Whether he's free, he's gone. So Ristich is the natural person to fill in that position. That's why he was signed this year. And I think give a kid a chance at left back. Like if we talk about this, then what are we talking about the kids for? Then just
then play. Then it should have been. He should have been played. Grimaldo's the last year contract last year. How come we didn't give chances to the B kids last year when we had the Campeonato lost?
Well, his last year contract is this year.
I know, no, but we could have given the B team or as a B player a chance last year when the Campeonato was lost by 20 points. Why did we play Grimaldo until the end?
Sandro did play.
He didn't. Sandro Cruz played the last few games.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's because Grimaldo said he didn't want to play.
JJ was the coach at the beginning of the season. Once that went to shit at halfway through, then they started rotating a little bit.
All right, we're coming up here on the 70-minute mark. I want a quick round table. We're gonna do quickly start, bench, sell. I'm gonna start with Oscar to finish this off. Start. Pick one to start, pick one to bench, pick one to sell. The options are Ederson, Oblak, Michel Prudhomme. Start, bench, sell.
Why don't you guys give me he's got Elton Ligt in between there?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's supposed to be challenging. Start, bench, sell. Ederson, Oblak, Prudhomme.
All right. So my favorite goalkeeper of all time, even though I watched Prudhomme when I was younger.
Got 60 seconds.
All right. Oblak to start. Oh my God, this sucks. Prudhomme to the bench and Ederson to sell. Oblak is my favorite goalkeeper.
Damn. Bill, Ederson, Oblak, Prudhomme. Start, bench, sell.
Ederson start. Oblak bench. Prudhomme. These guys. The world we're in now. The style of play. I go with these two guys.
My goodness.
Prudhomme sell.
Jason.
See, I'm going to think this a little bit differently.
I'm thinking like Tank. I can already tell.
The Drone's going to start. I'm going to put Ederson on the bench, and I'm going to sell Oblak because he makes probably the most money from Benfica.
He's thinking financially. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I thought of it too. I mean, I could switch Ederson to Oblak to be different than Tank, but I would say if you're talking like their time at Benfica, Prudhomme was at the tail end of his career, so he's not going to be much value in the market. So I'd start him. And I bench one of the other ones and sell Oblak since I think he probably was the highest transfer.
Yeah.
No, Ederson was. Oblak's probably the better keeper, though, in my opinion. So you probably get more money for him.
Ederson went for more.
I would start Prudhomme. I would bench Ederson, and I would sell Oblak. Those are just my preference on goalies. Prudhomme was an absolute machine. Well, that wraps it up. Don't forget to follow us. Subscribe.
Oscar, you look pissed off, dude. What was wrong with you?
It was a tough, stressful decision.
That was a tough question.
I think Oscar wanted to tell a story about Michel Prudhomme.
No, because I really didn't watch much other than probably the video the Benfica Sporting video. That's probably one of the games.
I remember Michel Prudhomme so much when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh man,
when Benfica
legend. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We're knocking on the door of 25,000 followers on Facebook. So give us a like if you haven't. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts as well. We will be back on Wednesday with the Portuguese podcast. Actually, it might be next Wednesday. We haven't figured out if we have content. Go ahead.
What's the next game for Benfica?
We got the Algarve Cup this coming weekend. We play Nice and Fulham Friday and Sunday.
Are they afternoon games?
Fridays is like 3:30 p.m. and I think that Sunday is a afternoon for us, 3:30 p.m. our time.
Televised, right? BTV.
Yes, it should be on TV. Thank you to everyone that was in the chat, gentlemen. Kickstarting it's Friday, Red Baron, because then we have the Eusebio Cup the following weekend, and then Champions League qualification, and we find out on Friday also who our opponent is for. I believe it's this Friday, or it might be the following Friday, but we find out in the next week or so of who our opponent's going to be. Again, thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for joining the conversation, gentlemen. Have a good rest of your evening. We will be back next Monday. Viva Benfica, and welcome to season 3 of O Cantinho Benfiquista podcast.
Trophies, boys. This year's trophy.
See you.